Good morning. I am Mel Barrett,
I'm Rebecca Lavoie,
and welcome to Something's Off, where
and
we
that's
talk
Briscoe
about,
Lavoie. Sorry.
and that's Briscoe in the back. Oh, look at him. We talk a lot about true crimey stuff that is off. Something's off with these trials. I'll tell you that much. Something's off with. There's so much going on today, Rebecca. I don't even know where to begin.
Well, what's going on? I'm sorry. I'm just muting because this is not ideal. I'm going to put him in the mudroom. I'll be right back.
Okay, great. So I am going to give you guys an update about what we're trying to do today. So yesterday in the Kouri Richins trial, so day 9 of the Kouri Richins trial was explosive to say the least. So we are going to try to recap what's happening with Kouri Richins from day 9. And basically all of her besties took the stand, and it was fascinating. There was a lot of audio, there was some video, there were lots of text messages. It was messy, messy, messy. But also at 9 a.m. today, Karen Reed is going to be back in court over the civil case, talking about the sir reply and the reply and the sir reply and all the replies, going back and forth about her phone, where Diller for the O'Keefes misquoted Karen Reed in his motion. So we're going to keep an eye on when the trial start, or when the hearing starts. It's supposed to start at 9 a.m. We may try to jump into that live as long as we have a good feed. We're trying not to use other creators' feeds because, well, obviously this is our channel, but also because most creators kind of talk over the court feed, and that is distracting sometimes. So, and I'm sure I will do it, and so don't say that I'm like speaking out of both sides of my mouth. Everybody does it, but to put it on our channel, it might be a little bit confusing. So we're going to keep an eye on Boston 25 and Court TV and Law and Crime and see if they have the trial channel might also have it. Rebecca,
We're just going to have to get the Zoom call info next time. Is what we're going to have to do.
We are. You know what's really funny? Did you ever hear about what happened with Melanie Little on the Zoom in court?
No.
So Melanie Little got access to one of the, like, she was able to log in through the Zoom for one of Karen Reed's hearings.
Yeah.
And the way I understand it is, she wasn't muted, and so every time she spoke, she was in the hearing.
Ooh.
She was like on live, and I'm not sure exactly how it happened, but she was like, make sure everyone mutes when they're on the Zoom and blah, blah, blah. Cause like you could hear, I don't know if you could hear her people talking, you could hear her talking, but she was like popping up in court. It's kind of funny to me.
I love that.
So we're going to try to bang this out. We have a 2-hour block to get this done. And I am going to try to, as quickly as I can, go through day 9. We may have to come back for more commentary, Rebecca, about
if you think it's that important, I will do whatever you want me to do.
Well, I will tell you the reason why I think it's important. These were all, prosecution witnesses, but they were all Kouri's best friends, and they played 45 minutes of audio of a recorded phone call between Eric's best friend and Kouri and her best friend.
Yeah.
And we got a lot.
Juicy?
It was very juicy. And I'm going to say this right off the top. I'm not promising, but I'm going to try very hard to not get too emotional and too passionate about this. But I don't think that the prosecution did. I mean, I know they had to play it for the jury, but I don't think the prosecution realizes how sympathetic what they did yesterday makes Kouri to the jury, or to me at least.
Is this one of those things though where it's sympathetic if you're already inclined to be sympathetic, or would I feel the same way?
No, because there's some testimony, there's some bombshelly testimony that comes out. I mean, the very top of my notes says gummies. The gummies came in. And there's witness testimony to the gummies. So that's one thing. There's a lot there. Let's get into it. Thanks to, Housekeeping, I'm going to try to run through this real quick, but if you become a member, Rebecca's going to send you stickers. Where are your stickers, Rebecca?
Including the I Love Straight Bear sticker, the Dance, Dream, and Never Cease Eternity sticker, and my 2 heart stickers, which are downstairs, which is the
That's okay. You're hot.
You're hot.
Do I have them? No, I don't have them over here. You're hot, and I'll allow it. We also have the merch store up. You can find it in a link on our YouTube and on our Facebook group. Join the Facebook group. It's a private group for listeners of the show. We have great debates, great conversations.
Nice people.
Nice people. It's Something's Off with Mel Barrett and Rebecca Lavoie. And we would love to have you over there. There's lots of convos that happen. People make really great points about what we're talking about in these trials. I appreciate it. I also really appreciate your tips and your memberships. And we love you and we thank you. Do you have anything to add?
No, but just that somebody did a nice job reminding us to signpost. At some point, you have to tell the dance story again for people who weren't here the first time.
I was just thinking that when you put the sticker up, I'm like, people have no idea what we're talking about. I will tell the dance story again, probably not today.
Mel's preteen dance troupe dance.
Yeah. Dream and never cease eternity. Everybody in the chat, please say thank you to Amanda. Amanda has been she's working diligently to chapter out our videos for us, which is not something that I have time to do. And so I appreciate her so much. She's also doing my Newslight show as well. Newslight airs on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. and we have fun guests on that show. So if you're into politics and you want to talk about what's going on in the world, join me over there on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Rebecca, anything else you want to add?
Listen to Crime Writers On. It comes out Mondays and Thursday mornings, and we review true crime media. This week, we reviewed Murder in Glitterball City and Valley of Shadows. Murder in Glitterball City is a great documentary on HBO that Mel still hasn't finished that I highly recommend. And Valley of Shadows is a podcast that's about a cop in this very methy, deserty part of California who went missing in the desert, and people think that he died by suicide, but other cops think he was maybe killed by another cop. It's fine. I think our discussion about it is a little more exciting than the podcast, but it's pretty good. But yeah, we talk about true crime and true crime media, and you can listen to You Can't Make This Up as well. As I said yesterday, we're going to have an episode coming out soon about a really interesting documentary we watched about the Murdochs. So I'm looking forward to that one.
Ooh, exciting. Oh yeah. You talked about the Murdoch, the dynasty, the Murdoch something or other.
Not the Alec Murdochs, the other Murdochs.
The other, like Lachlan and all those guys. So good morning, chat. Good morning, Amanda. Good morning, Jess. Good morning, Romodo. Good morning, Rob. I'm sure I'm missing some people, but we so appreciate you being here. Okay, let's one
last thank you. Thank you to Chris Benton for supplying the honey that I put in my Eggo waffles every morning. Thank you.
Yep. And thanks for the update on your wife, Chris. We hope that everybody's doing okay. And we will definitely be thinking about you today. I don't know if you're here, Chris, but thank you anyway. Okay. There were 4 witnesses, I believe. So just so everybody knows, yesterday was chock full of information and emotional testimony, but I don't mean emotional testimony by people who were actually on the stand, because the people who were on the stand actually didn't testify that much. They literally sat there while there were procedural sidebars and audio was played and text messages were read and all this stuff. Kouri is a very emotional person. That's what I have gathered from these recordings and her best friends. The people that were on the stand yesterday have known Kouri since junior high school and high school. So they know her well. So we started off with Joshua Kays, who was actually a witness. He was one of Eric's friends. And he basically was just backing up that Eric had called him on Valentine's Day and sounded not like himself, somber, serious. So the prosecution has been alluding to the fact that they think that Kouri tried to poison Eric on Valentine's Day, which was 2 weeks before his death.
Really?
Oh yeah, we talked about that. Yeah. So some of the testimony from I think it was the day before yesterday was from this like really sweet older gentleman who owned a diner in town, and his only purpose was to get on the stand and verify that Kouri ordered lunch on Valentine's Day and that it was an omelet and some kind of a sandwich. And while he was on the stand, they made him say all the ingredients of his omelets and his sandwiches. And quinoa bowls and things like that. He was very sweet, and I really want to go to his diner. It sounded like really good food. So yeah, so they're setting up a couple of different things here. For me, it seems like the prosecution is setting up she may have attempted to poison him on Valentine's Day. His sisters have also alleged that she tried to poison him while they were on a trip in Greece, which comes up in some of the conversation yesterday. And then the Moscow mules were the way that she poisoned him on the day he died. However, there's some contradictory testimony in there because one of the things that we heard yesterday, they were actually talking about the Greece trip and how Amy and Katie, I believe, Amy and Katie are his sisters, were saying that she tried to poison him because he got really sick while they were in Greece. The reason that he got sick, Kouri says, is because he has Lyme's disease and he's on medication for Lyme's disease. And while they were at a pub or whatever in Greece, he had ordered a non-alcoholic beverage because he can't have alcohol on the medicine that he takes for Lyme's disease. And they accidentally put alcohol in his drink. And then he got sick. And they were all together. So I can't imagine that Kouri tried to poison him while they were in Greece. I mean, maybe.
I would say that would maybe be a better time, my opinion. Because
because there's so many people around it, they could be blamed. Yeah, sure.
Well, so many people around, but also it could be like it came from anywhere. We're in another country. We don't know. Right. So I don't know. This idea that she's like that she tried multiple times is actually more intriguing to me than it used to be. Like just because it keeps it's I don't know.
They said the same thing about Pamela Smart.
I suppose that if you were planning on poisoning your husband, you might know not exactly how much and how to do it. So, I'm sorry about my terrible rubbing or bumping sound of the mic. It's probably my hard drive, like cycling, which sometimes happens. I will, let me hit pause. Tell me if it goes away.
Yeah.
It's me. Hello, it's me. Sorry. Does this stop the noise when I do this?
I mean, I'm not hearing it, but
I think it may have been my. I have a hard drive that cycles like in the mornings, and I think it was rumbling and vibrating underneath the desk. So
got it. Okay, we will fix it if we can, and if we can't, sorry.
I'll just hold my mic like this. I don't mind.
Yeah. So Jess says she has an attempted murder charge in addition to the murder charge, and that's because they're saying that she tried to poison him 2 weeks in advance. So Joshua, that was pretty much what he was there to say, was that Eric had called him. He hunted a lot with Eric. He spent a lot of time with Eric. He said something like he was like a mountain goat. He was so healthy. There was a lot of talk about how healthy Eric was, actually. And I'll say this right off the top. If I were sitting on the jury, coming in with my own confirmation bias, and I heard
your confirmation bias or my confirmation bias? Which one?
My confirmation bias.
Okay.
Mel, my confirmation bias. And I heard this audio recording of the conversation between Eric's best friend and Kouri and her best friend. My mind would have been changed about Kouri in a bad way if I had been thinking, well, they haven't shown me. But not for any factual evidentiary reason. It would have been changed because she emphatically claimed in this phone call that the coroner was saying that he might have had some complications of COVID, and that might be the reason that he died. And she exclaimed profusely that I refuse to believe that he had COVID, that he died because of COVID. We didn't believe in COVID. We didn't believe in vaccines. This is insane. If they put COVID down as the reason he died, I will fight it. I cannot believe, like, went off on a tangent. And I was like, oh, you're one of those people.
Yeah. Sorry. My computer is having behaviors. It's not my fault.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Yeah. That really struck me the wrong way. But I don't want to like judge people for that kind of stuff when they're on trial for murder. But I have to say that if that had come up, I would have been like, oh, you're a dummy. Okay. And then I think I would have changed. I think I would have thought differently of her. But anyway. So anyway, the next one we got into was a little contentious.
Are we inviting people who don't believe in COVID to leave our stream if they choose to now? Because
sure. You're frozen, by the way.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. Jess said I was thrown off by the calls as I was fixating on her voice not matching her face. Yeah.
In what way does her voice not match her face?
Because for me, I mean, Jess can answer this as well, but for me, I agree with that comment because Kouri looks very stern, and sometimes pouty. And when she's on the phone, she's crying again. So when we heard the 911 call, a lot of people thought that she was faking it. But now that I've heard her actually cry, it seemed genuine crying on the phone with Bryce and her best friend. It matched the 911 call. And it's this like weird, like baby cat mewy cry.
Okay.
And it just doesn't match her personality.
What's the circumstances under which this phone call between her friend and Eric's friend was taped?
She recorded it.
Why?
She recorded all of her calls. She recorded the call with the medical examiner. I know. That's something that I think a lot of people are pointing out. Like this was her
covering her ass. These are bad facts. Yeah, these are bad facts.
Bad facts. Yeah. Yeah, I had the same thought, Amanda. I bet she wishes he had been down with COVID. Yeah, I bet she does. Okay. So yeah, Shelly says Kouri's a master manipulator, in my opinion. That could very well be.
I don't know if she's a master.
Yeah. Well, she lies a lot. She lies a lot in these conversations, and it's provable lies because we've heard from the financial advisors and the estate planners and the lawyers and the forensic accountant about what she did with money. And so because we heard I will say the prosecution is really setting this up. Their way they're telling the story, I think, is good. It's often stuttered because there are so many weird. The defense, Lewis on the defense, she's not as good as Nestor. Nestor's the older mom looking one.
Nestor's the mom and the mother-in-law, a coded lawyer.
Yeah.
That's such a horrible, like feminine archetype. But
I know.
I saw her and I was like, she could be someone's mother-in-law.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't mean in a bad way.
She's also the one that got chastised for when asking questions to a witness. She was using y'all.
Mm-hmm.
She'd be like, "So when did y'all do this?" And
why was she chastised for that?
Well, there was an objection, and then the judge was like, "You have to ask specifically to the person and not you all." And she's like, "I'm sorry, I'm from the South. This is going to be difficult for me, but I will try." And then she would like overly make a point to not do it to the point that it was annoying.
I actually disagree with that call because y'all is actually like the perfect thing to call singular or groups of people because it's like, especially if you have situations where have a they them pronoun or whatever, like y'all covers. And there was a whole article about this a couple years ago. Y'all covers everything. So I actually disagree with that ruling. I think y'all should be allowed.
Yeah, she wasn't allowed to say it anymore. But anyway, I think that, that's interesting. Amanda says she thinks the prosecution is lacking a solid timeline. Also, all of the interruption and outside jury presence items are making it hard to follow. It's really hard to follow.
Okay.
Like, for instance, yesterday, the defense, so what the defense is doing, and the judge is getting annoyed with them about this, they are doing sort of a standing objection to a lot of these things to put it on the record. And he's like, guys, I already ruled on this in pretrial. Like, okay, your objection, it's on the record, but we have to stop doing this. But the
judge who remembers previous rulings he made is happening.
Yes, and he's not like falling asleep on the bench and sighing. He's very alert. He is like with them, and I appreciate that. He also has to be in charge of Scott, the guy who does all of the digital stuff for them in the courtroom. So Scott's the one who puts the documents up on the screen for everybody. Scott's the one who plays the audio.
For both the defense and the prosecution. Oh,
defense, prosecution, judge, and witness. It's on their screens. The witness has a screen in the box. The judge has a screen in his box. They all have screens. So
he's working with the law firm, the teams. He's got all the exhibits in advance. I've been wondering about the AV in this trial because from it's very good. They talk about something and it's there. It's like it's very cinematic the way that they're running the AV in this. It's a very unlike the Karen Reed trial where it would take 5 minutes to get a video on the screen.
And then the video would be inverted. So yeah.
Exactly.
The problem that I see, I guess it's not a problem, but because we can read along, but these big long stretches of time where they're putting text messages on the screen and everyone's just reading in silence. The jury is also reading. They have their screens too.
Yeah.
So everyone has access. I think it's run really well, but the judge is like, he is like a conductor of this courtroom. He's so good. And we love Judge Daddy, or at least I love Judge Daddy. So basically that was the testimony that came from Joshua Case. He was only up there for a little bit. Then came Becky Lloyd. Becky Lloyd was an interesting character. She's a neighbor of Kouri and Eric, who Kouri basically referred her to Eric's company for a job. She was like, you should hire Becky. She'd be great for this. And then they hired Becky to be an admin. And now I think she's in charge of accounts or something like that. That doesn't really matter. But Becky Lloyd testified that during a girl talk session, and I'm putting that in quotes, in December 2021, Kouri, they were talking about, because Becky had just gotten divorced. And so they were talking about that and Kouri's marital problems and all this stuff. Kouri expressed that she was feeling trapped in her marriage and stated it would be, quote, better if Eric was dead, end quote. The defense...
Don't say that kind of stuff if you might be tried for your husband's murder later.
Well,
I know that no one knows they're going to... I know. That was a joke.
Here's the thing. Yeah. The thing that was interesting about this is that the defense actually came back hard on Becky because Becky did not mention this quote from Kouri in the initial police interviews to anyone else until Katie started pressuring her, and their private investigator. Katie is Eric's sister.
Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah.
So they had a private investigator, and the private investigator started asking, and they're like, well, we heard that she said this. And she was like, oh, it was very much an I hit him moment, because she was like, and she's definitely coached. I should have actually pulled this video up and I don't have it right now. She was definitely coached because when the defense started cross-examining her, she was like, she said, I am not creating my own. I'm not creating this testimony. I did not receive any outside pressure. I blah, blah, blah. Like, she repeated things that it sounded like the prosecution told her to say. It was compelling. And I think it was awful for Kouri, because she was very firm in it, that she remembered. But there was the issue was that there was audio that was recorded of her from the police interviews, or from the investigator interview, the private investigator, where she said, if you put me on the stand, I can't 100% say that she said this. And so that was damning for her as a witness, but they did get it in the record that she said that Kouri said that Eric would be better off dead. It would be better if Eric was dead. So I found that testimony really, really interesting and important. I'm just going to, let me check really quickly to see if Boston, I might freeze up here for a second. Sorry,
I'm looking at their YouTube right now.
Okay. Thank you.
Live. No, I see some Brian Walsh evidence and Brian Walsh videos. I am always I'm subscribed to this channel, and I'm always confounded by the way some people's YouTube channels are organized, I will say.
Yeah, me too.
This is not helpful, okay. Boston 5.
No, it's not. Let me look at one other. Hold on a second. Well, the other one I wanted to look at was the trial channel. They might have it as well. They're amazing, and we love them. Fans of the trial channel.
While you're doing that, I just want to say the reason for my less convenient location change to upstairs is that I knew that we might be dealing with media, and I had to do some following along with notes today. And I have a computer downstairs too, but it's not my computer here is right here and I can touch it while we're talking, which is harder for me to do downstairs. So I was like, I might need to do that. So I apologize for my house noises, my dogs, all that stuff.
It's okay. I'm not worried about it. I don't think
I do have my stolen valor behind me. So
look at that. Look at that Emmy. That's Kevin's Emmy.
It's Kevin's Emmy, but I'd stolen valor.
I love it.
These two are mine, but that one is not.
You know that there was a short hearing yesterday with the Karen Reed stuff,
Yes,
right?
there was.
Yes.
Yeah,
We can talk about that in a minute. Okay, let me get back to my notes. All right, so that was pretty much for Becky Lloyd. She wasn't on the stand for very long. What is that?
It's what's one that did you give this to me? I can't remember.
I'm so damn proud of you.
I think Kevin gave this to me a long time ago because I was so envious of his
It's a cheerleader.
His Emmy.
I love it. Okay, so Becky Lloyd wasn't on the stand for very long, and it was uncomfortable. She was definitely impeached, I would say, by the defense. The next person who was spent almost the entire day sitting on the stand, but saying very little because she just had to sit there and deal with all the procedural shit. They literally were taking the transcripts of this 45-minute call and the audio of this 45-minute call, and they were redacting. They were in real time, like redacting stuff. And she literally just sat on the stand and had to wait for them to do this. And that's Chelsea Barney, who is Kouri Richins' best friend. The thing I couldn't tell from her testimony, so just to sort of let the audience know, and maybe you know, because I'm not sure if you do, this was brought up during the forensic accountant day, but Chelsea testified that she gave Kouri her life savings of $45,000 as a down payment for a house that Kouri was flipping. So Chelsea needed a place to live with her family. She has children and I believe a husband. She is, from what I understand, a manager of a restaurant, but she had $45,000 saved from her work at the restaurant. It was her entire life savings. She gave it to Kouri as a down payment for a house that Kouri was flipping so that she could later move into that house. And the way that I understand the deal, the way that it was set up, is that Kouri would take out the loan, but that Chelsea's name would be on the deed. And every month, Chelsea would make the payment directly to the mortgage company.
Like a owner finance. Oh, I see. So she'd
Yes.
make the payment to the mortgage company, not to Kouri. Okay.
Right.
So it was not like so it was almost like an owner financed sale. Where
Yes.
like the seller is financing it and then you pay the seller, but instead of them paying Kouri was smart because she probably knew I'll just use that money for something else. So they paid the bank. So I have a question about this. I know you said Kouri taped all of her phone calls, but what is the circumstance where Kouri and Eric's friend and Chelsea were all on the phone at the same time? Like, how does that happen?
So this is really interesting. So the call that happens between Chelsea and Bryce, who is Eric's best friend, Kouri calls him and has him on speakerphone, and her best friend Chelsea is in the room with her, as well as, from what it sounds like, her mom might be walking in the room. This is 2 weeks after Eric died. The kids come into the room. So Bryce is on speakerphone. He's actually at work. He works at the airport. He's on speakerphone with them, and Kouri is recording it from a separate phone. So there's actually video that goes along with this too. And the video is basically like the phone is looking at a leg in a blanket or something like that. So Kouri is recording it from a separate phone. It's on speakerphone. That's how we have it. Yeah. She also,
I'm sorry, that's super sus.
No, of course. I mean, and I think everyone's thinking that. This is where Jess has this question, and I also have this question. They didn't really determine. They didn't make it fact on the stand. Is Chelsea still friends with Kouri? The last witness said she is, which is surprising to me. So Chelsea and then the last witness, Allie staking, were best friends of Kouri's, and Allie made it clear that she is still friends with Kouri, which I found very interesting. Chelsea, they didn't really get that out of her, but I think some people will look at it and say, because of what happened with the $45,000, because the end of that story that I was just telling you about the $45,000 is that what Chelsea didn't know is that Kouri had taken out a loan that she didn't know about. And it led to Chelsea's eventual eviction after Kouri was arrested. So Chelsea lost her $45,000 and all the mortgage payments and her home.
Damn it, Kouri. You really screwed over your friend.
But at the same time, I personally couldn't tell if Chelsea was not friends with her anymore.
Maybe they're ride or die.
This all goes back to the walk the dog letter.
Yeah.
Because when Kouri was talking about asked my girls what they saw and what they heard, she's talking about these two people, probably among others.
Right, but she's talking about what she told them. She's talking
Yes.
about ask them what.
No, because Allie, the next witness, can testify, was a witness to the gummy story.
Okay.
Which is in the walk the dog letter. Shelley says it was more than $45,000. She paid $3,000 a month for a mortgage for over a year. Yeah, that's what I was just saying. So she paid $45,000 for the down payment. Her mortgage was $2,900, I think she said, per month, and she paid that for a year. So here's what we got. I'm gonna try to recap what was in this 45-minute phone call. It was 2 separate phone calls. Bryce actually called back. Kouri basically starts the phone call off by saying, Bryce, I want to have a conversation with you. I want to be very clear about what's happening. I know that you have known the Richins much longer than me, so your loyalties probably lie with them. But I wanted to give you a heads up that this is happening. I want to be honest, kind of thing. And then she goes into that she is suing them. This is 2 weeks after Eric's death.
Right.
So Chelsea, before all this happens, I want you to understand what everybody knows and what's come out in this phone conversation. Wait, let's just check the channel and make sure that Karen Reed isn't up yet. I don't know if we're gonna.
I just popped over to Broken Baker and he's still chatting. So if anything is, I don't think it's started yet.
Okay. Sorry to keep interrupting ourselves, but we're trying to keep an eye on this. So there are several things that were established before this phone call took place. And that is that it seems like everyone in their lives knew about the $250,000 that Kouri took through the HELOC loan.
Yeah.
The line of credit.
So that was something that he told people, like people knew.
Yeah. And she told people. And in this phone call, she's doing this thing where she's like, that $250,000, I keep telling everybody, and I told Eric too, and Eric and I actually sat down and we had a conversation about this. That $250,000 was the smartest thing I ever did. I might have done it I'm paraphrasing. Please don't say that I'm not quoting her properly. I might have done it in a nefarious way. The reason I did what I did is because Eric didn't believe in me, and he didn't allow me to pursue work and making my own money. He had control over me.
And she claimed that they now owned $11 million worth of property because of the money she took.
Yeah, she's like, because of that $250,000, I now own 12 properties. I'm paraphrasing. Don't quote me. I now own 12 properties where our children are set for life. There's $11 million in profit, blah, 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 blah. So we know a lot of that was not true. Whether she fully understood that or not, I assume she didn't. She knew that. But she said that she and Eric had just recently, days before he died, sat down and had a conversation, and she showed him everything that she had done as far as like.
Fox 25 has a video up. I don't know if yep, the video's up. Looks like you can put it up, but it's just like pre-court stuff right now. I see Paul O'Keefe looking angry.
Okay. We're going to put this up. We're going to keep going until they go live, and then we're going to switch over to that. And I hope that's not too jarring. I think that what will happen is we might have to continue our Kouri Richins coverage either over the weekend or something like that if this happens. Okay. So I'm going to add this to the stage.
Imagine being able to build an app with your name on it just by thinking about it. Meet bait.
Go away. I hate ads. Okay. Well, we do have court audio.
Yeah. Court isn't in session yet, though. If you want to mute that until something happens, feel free. Is Aaron with? Oh, someone says Aaron is with Paul.
Yeah, Aaron's sitting right next to him. It looks like.
What? Oh.
Yeah.
Good for him.
Yeah.
He probably convinced her that everything that happened was a lie made up by Turtle Boy.
Oh, there's Alan Jackson. This is so scattered. I'm so sorry to the audience, but we are all over the place. But this is some big stuff that's happening today. So
you are yay or nay on the beard?
I like the beard. I don't like him clean faced. I think he looks weird. He looks a little doughy.
He's too much face.
He just has too much, like, right here.
When Kevin shaves his beard, which is very rare.
I can't even imagine Kevin without a beard.
I am like, was like, too much face. Because you're not used to seeing it. Like, you're used to seeing the face all broken up, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you for telling me if we have YouTube Premium, we can skip ads. I know. I get ads for it literally every time I go on YouTube.
So here's the thing. I have YouTube Premium. It's not on this account. That's the problem. And so if I sign in, it screws up my whole everything. Sarah Pulaski, thanks so much for becoming a new member. We appreciate you. If you haven't been to many of our streams, this one is going to be a little bit all over the place, which is not normally. I mean, we have a lot of tangents usually, but we don't often interrupt coverage of one case to go into a live. So anyway, I'm going to
mute my mic when they start talking and only unmute it if I have to go.
Oh my God, Nikki said, I just came in. Can you do a super quick recap? No, I'm so sorry.
Okay, I can. A bunch of people, so apparently Kouri taped all of her phone calls and continued to lie to her friends and Eric's friends after he died. That's the quick recap.
Yeah. So, okay.
You're welcome.
We're going to go back into Kouri Richins. As soon as the judge takes the bench in Karen Reed, we're switching over to Karen Reed, just so everybody knows what's happening. Okay. There's so much in this 45-minute phone call between Kouri. Wow, Karen looks amazing. Look at her hair. Sorry. There's so much that is in this phone call between Bryce, who is Eric's best friend, and Kouri's best friend, Chelsea, who is in the room. They are on speakerphone, recording from one device to the other. And basically, we talked about the $45,000 life savings, all that stuff. One of the things that came out is that they had an impromptu celebration of life of Eric at Kouri's house, where it sounds like it got a little crazy. Everyone was pretty drunk, including Bryce took his pants off. We know that much. The reason we know this is because it sounds like Katie and Amy, who are Eric's sisters, were also there, and they took video. And they gave that video to their attorneys because of the lawsuit with Kouri, but also they accused her of being an unfit mother because of this video. And they had video of Bryce not wearing his pants. And Bryce said something along the lines of, "Oh, come on. They all know me. Every time I drink, I don't wear pants." Something along the line. Bryce sounds he sounds like a good best friend.
He's the man child of the group. He's the Jason Kelsey of the group.
I don't know. He sounded like, he sounded basically like he was trying desperately to be like middle of the line. He would take up for Eric. He would say, "Kouri, this isn't right that this is happening to you. You know how Amy and Katie are. You know, they're all about the money. They all, it's because Eric told them all the bad things. He never told them all the good things." But here's some of the stuff that really stuck out to me. They kept referencing, the shit show that happened 2 years ago, right? Well, the shit show that happened 2 years ago, everybody, I think, references the HELOC and the $250,000 and then him going to the estate planner and changing everything over. But what also happened in that 2 years ago period, and what might have actually triggered a lot of how Kouri was acting in the moment, and I'm not making excuses, but Eric was having an affair with, I guess, a coworker. And that triggered the shit show, basically. And also and his best friend Bryce was like, "Dude, like, basically man up, stop having an affair, either divorce her or stop having an affair. But what the fuck are you doing?" And he's telling Kouri this. He's like, "I told him this." Do we think Karen uses the Dyson Airwrap?
I do.
Although
we saw her on the on one of those TV things just using
hair.
A straight curling iron. So her hair looks great today. This is very substantive commentary on this.
I know that it's like more blonde, but it's not actually that, like, it's like ashy blonde, which I love.
Yeah.
I'm such a lesbian. Okay. Let's see. So Bryce took his pants off at the celebration party. Kouri also mentioned that Amy and Katie were coming after her because now she has an assault charge And the assault charge stems, this was in pretrial, and this played out on the recording. And so basically in real time in court, it said, Kouri was saying, yeah, they're coming at me with everything. Now I have this assault charge. And the defense was like, objection. And so they cut the tape off. And the reason why they objected is because obviously it could be prejudicial, prior bad acts for Kouri. But I believe this came in pretrial. The reason why she had an assault charge is because she did punch Amy. I think it was Amy, not Katie, because they were like struggling over something. I don't know.
Wait, what now?
Yeah, she punched one of the sisters. So she has.
So we have somebody who doesn't believe in COVID and who punches her in-laws when they have a disagreement. Great.
Yeah, that's pretty much what's happening. I still haven't seen evidence that she poisoned him though. Okay, everybody can go ahead and yell at me and be like, you're being, you are.
I love this for you. I love that it's getting worse and worse for you.
They think that I'm being obtuse. They think that I'm just like, that I'm doing this to make an argument. I'm literally not. I do want to see evidence. You know what I mean? I do want to see evidence.
Yes.
Oh, thanks for becoming a member.
Even people who don't believe in COVID have rights, of course.
Even people who don't believe
in
COVID
punch
or
their
vaccines
sisters-in-law
don't have rights. And then, well, there's more to it. So at this party, at this celebration of life, Kouri also hired a locksmith. Oh, stop with the ads. Kouri also hired a locksmith because in the safe downstairs apparently was Eric's will, and she didn't have access to the safe. She didn't have the safe code. So they hired a locksmith, and she and her brother, or her brother and the locksmith, were down in the basement trying to unlock the safe when either Katie, Amy, or both, I can't remember, pulled up and saw the locksmith's truck in the driveway, rushed into the house, and that's when the big fight started happening.
Because she was trying to crack his safe.
She was trying to crack his. Oh,
was it a gun safe or a safe safe?
I think it was a safe. Yeah. So that happened, and I think that's where the assault charge came from. There was probably people were drinking, and there was something that happened there. Let me hold on a second. Okay, so there is a major. Oh, Shauna says, I'm with you, Mel. Kouri is a terrible person and a fraudster, but I still don't see proof of her killing him.
Well, there's
I don't,
one.
And stop. I also, I want to say this again. I know that you can look at this and be realistic, right? And you can say, okay, but why is Kouri taping all these conversations? Is this performative? But I will say that the emotions that happen in this call, I think, are going to get to some jurors, because the whole reason for this call ends up being, Bryce, this is what the family is doing to me. And she says like a dozen times, I don't care about the money. They can keep the money. I don't want the money. I just want my house. They're trying to take my house from me. So the house is no longer she has no claim to the house. Katie's trying to take the house from her.
Yeah, because the house was in a trust and she's not the trustee.
Right. So they are literally trying to evict her, and that's what she's mostly upset about. That's what she's saying on the phone call. They also talk about her call with the medical examiner, or the coroner, which I mentioned, where she goes off the rails about COVID. She talks about how they have ruled out that it was any kind of aneurysm, but that there might have been a problem with his lungs, alluding to the fact that he was a stonemason and that might have really messed up his lungs. But then Kouri talks about how he was the most fit guy in the world. He was just, playing sports last night. He was doing the boys' soccer. He ran a half marathon with her, and he only decided to run that half marathon on the day when he woke up in the morning. He didn't even practice for it. She did. So there was a lot of that where they were talking about how crazy. I mean,
did you say practice?
I meant train. Yeah. Sorry,
I was like, I thought you were an athlete, girl.
I'm not a runner. I fucking hate running. I don't even understand it. I only run because I have to, and it's in a sport. Okay, so and then they showed all these text messages between Kouri and Chelsea, and the gist of the text messages were like, "Oh my God, are you fucking kidding me? They're fucking doing this again. They are so fucking stupid." That was it. That was it, basically. And they were just talking about Katie and Amy and how Katie and Amy won't give her any like they won't bend at all. They won't give her any concessions until they see the autopsy report. And so it's very clear at this point in time that Amy and Katie believe that Kouri had something to do with Eric's death. And they're telling everyone that, and Kouri's telling everyone that they think I had something to do with it, which is just insane, you know? So yeah, this was a good point, Ellie. I thought this too. If you poisoned him, wouldn't you want to agree with the Emmy's lung/COVID explanation? Yeah. So I find it odd that she was so adamant about not agreeing with anything the medical examiner was telling her and that she was going to fight the medical examiner. Let's see. So Chelsea and Kouri have all these text messages. Like I said, they're just kind of crazy. One of the quotes from them is, "They have no evidence of either of us having anything to do with it. So somehow it got into his system. We should get cause of death and autopsy this week." Kouri also, the day that she finally gets, wait, you're on mute. I can't hear you.
I'm talking to Kevin. I'm asking him to fire up our studio downstairs so I can move.
Oh, okay.
I've got a very restless Bernedoodle.
Oh, that's
He's
okay.
pacing. He's growling. He's doing all the Bernedoodle things.
That's okay. So when Kouri finally does get the coroner, the autopsy, and it says that he died of fentanyl overdose, they have conversations about that. Like, how did fentanyl get in his system? How did this happen? Blah, blah, blah. So they go back and forth about that in text. Kouri's mom, Lisa, called Chelsea the morning Eric died and told her Eric was dead. Chelsea went to Kouri's home and Kouri told her that she went to bed with one of the boys, woke up, went back into the bedroom and realized Eric was cold and he wasn't breathing. She also reiterates that information on the phone call with Bryce. And Kouri says they had been celebrating the closing of the Midway mansion and they were having a drink together over the closing on the Midway mansion, which is that what ended up being a $3.4 million mansion. This is they have a bunch of exhibits. They have a bunch of texts between Kouri and Chelsea where Kouri is saying this is a fucking nightmare. She's hired a law firm that represents the Utah Jazz and will cost her $100,000, but she will win. And then after lunch, there was so much that was going on. I'm going to miss some of this stuff and I feel bad about that. You and I are definitely going to have to talk and like go into a little bit more granular detail and talk about how we feel about this stuff later on. Right now, I'm just kind of giving a recap. So Kouri was the sister-in-law told Kouri, so sister-in-law Katie or Amy, not really sure which one. The house was no longer hers and it belonged to the other sister. So Amy told her the house was no longer hers and it belonged to Katie because she was in charge of everything. Kouri was very upset and collapsed. She was hysterical and upset. She couldn't believe this was all happening. And we're hearing this on the call with Bryce. She is like sobbing and crying and being like, "Bryce, I didn't do anything wrong. They're just taking everything from me. They can have the money, but I just want my house. I just want my house. I've been paying the mortgage. I put $70,000 into this house in the past year," that kind of thing. She also is just like really leaning into being really successful at flipping houses and making a lot of money.
How would he have lived without her is the question, right?
How would he have lived without her?
Yes, she was so integral to their success.
Yeah.
And their financial stability.
Yeah. And he didn't even understand all that she had done until she laid it out for him, just a little while ago and all this stuff.
All right. I will be right back. Okay.
Okay. I'm going to keep going with the recap. Okay. So let's see. Let's see. So we're talking about a new exhibit here. There were so many breaks. I don't know if you all watched the trial yesterday, but literally every time they would enter new evidence or they would put new evidence in front of a witness, it was like objection, sidebar, reevaluate, redact. juries in and out, juries in and out. The poor witness, Chelsea, she just sat on the stand most of the day and barely said anything. And they were talking about a text exchange. And all that, this is always like with an instruction to the jury. So, basically pay attention to Kouri's statements. You can use Kouri's statements. You can consider them for any purpose, but they can't consider what Chelsea is saying. Just the effect that they had on Kouri, basically. So the first message is, oh my fucking God, it's Katie and Amy. They told the detective, basically, I've been trying to kill Eric for 5 years and Eric was divorcing me. Chelsea responds that she can't be serious. Kouri sent Chelsea the documents. She's saying they claim she didn't even do CPR and they want the Midway house. Kouri says it's full of shit and lies. She says Eric's sisters claim Kouri and Eric were arguing about the Midway house the day he died. She calls them stupid and says they have no idea. Chelsea tells Kouri to cut ties with his family now. Then they talk about the rumor. Oh wait, let's get Rebecca back on the stage.
I'm here.
Are you there?
Yes.
Oh, okay, good. Sorry. So then we're talking about, Rebecca, the text exchanges now between Kouri and Chelsea. We haven't totally gotten into the full phone call yet, but basically they're talking about how Katie and Amy think that Kouri's been trying to kill him for 5 years. And Chelsea says, I'm going to go grab a beer and read the documents you just sent me, which I thought was really funny. There was some messaging about the possibility of the sandwich that he ate on Valentine's Day being poisoned, that Eric was doing anger management. There was a lot of talk about Eric's anger management and the affair that he had, and how Bryce was telling him he needed to like buck up and get his shit together, and that he was a mess. Kouri says he got sick in Greece because he ordered I told you that he ordered a non-alcoholic drink. Is that the bailiff telling them what's happening?
Yes.
Let me just see what's going on here for a second.
The court officer.
Is it?
If it goes off, you'll be asked to leave.
Oh, they're giving instructions. Okay. Okay. So we heard about the Greece.
Did you see that? Folks are saying Peter Murphy is there.
Oh yeah,
he's the former Canton Police Department sergeant who
Peter
has
Murphy.
feelings about.
He's also the one that he knows about the whole plow situation where there was the call made about a body over at 34 Fairview before, and then that call suddenly went away, went somewhere.
TC Nerd, I have not muted you in any way, and I never have done that. I don't even know how to do that, so I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, we definitely have not done that. We don't have any mods. We haven't done that. We love you. We're glad you're here. Okay. So the calls are being played. We've kind of gotten through some of the calls. Kouri's crying, saying she wants the house. Yes. Chelsea says everyone knew how Kouri and Eric were. Oh, the judge is
here we
coming
go.
in. All right, here we go. Sorry, guys. We are. So for those of you in the chat,
I'm gonna put myself on mute. Let's take a listen.
We're breaking the Kouri coverage to cover the Karen retrial that's happening.
Remain before the Commonwealth, draw near. Give your attendance, you shall be heard. I say the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, this honorable court is now in session. Please be seated.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Please.
Karen looks fabulous.
Today is Friday, March 6th, 2026. This is the Civil D session at Plymouth Superior Court before the Honorable Justice Mark Gilday. Your Honor, the matter before the court is civil action number 2483 CV 00692. Paul O'Keefe, individually and personal representative of the estate of John Joseph O'Keefe III et al. Versus C&C Hospitality LLC, doing business as C&F McCarthy's et al. Counsel, if you could please state your name for the record, we can start with the plaintiffs.
Good morning, Your Honor. Attorney Mark Diller on behalf of the
plaintiffs.
Good morning, Your Honor. Attorney Dan Buck on behalf of the plaintiffs.
Good morning, Your Honor. Alan Jackson on behalf of Mr. Reed.
AJ.
Good morning, Your Honor. Aaron Rosenberg on behalf of Mr. Reed.
Morning.
Good morning, Your Honor. Art Maravellis on behalf of Karen Reed.
Morning. Morning to everyone else that's here in the gallery. I'd remind those in the gallery to keep in mind the instructions that the court officer
gave you a little while ago. Before we get started, can I talk to counsel at the side of the bench, please?
I want to mute the white noise.
Yeah.
We can make up a fake sidebar while they're talking. So, Mr. Jackson, I like your beard. Thanks a lot. I've been using new product on it.
And look at her hair, you guys. Karen looks like she got younger. What the fuck? How do we do that? How does that happen? Who's in the courtroom? Who do we recognize? Isn't that Peter Murphy?
I think
that's Peter Murphy right there with the purple shirt.
I'm wondering the same thing. Can you turn up the YouTube audio a little bit while we're muted? It's a little bit low.
Turn up the YouTube audio? What do you mean?
Turn up. It's too lower. It's lower compared to us. Or we need to turn our mics down so we can be even with the court audio. We're a lot louder than the court audio.
Got it. All right, so we have Paul. This is Aaron, right?
Apparently.
Right next to him. And then we got Mr. and Mrs. O'Keefe. I don't know who this guy is over there on the end next to Mrs. O'Keefe. I mean, not O'Keefe, sorry, Reed. Karen, her dad, her mom, and then some other guy. And I think the guy in the purple shirt behind Karen is Peter Murphy. Who are these people? Someone wearing an American flag shirt.
Listen, I'm not sure about any of these people's choice in men, not just Aaron's. Just going to throw it out there.
Wait, I recognize that woman who has the patch on her face. Who is that? Okay. You want to keep going while we're doing sidebar?
Yeah.
Okay. So we are in the call. It's a shit show of a call. I mean, I've mentioned that already. Kouri's like, Bryce, I'm not a bad mom. And again, this may be performative if she's recording the call, but then again, she's also recording it with Chelsea. And here's what I'll say. I'll play devil's advocate for just a moment because that's what I do. She might be recording the call because she's in the middle of now a lawsuit with these people, and she wants to start recording everything so that she has evidence of what, I mean, Bryce it sounds like he's on her side. He may be talking out of both sides of his mouth, but Bryce sounds like he is on her side, and he's very honest with her about the conversations he had with Eric when Eric was still alive, about how Eric fucked up by having an affair, and Eric has anger management issues. And if he, going to see a divorce lawyer was in response to Kouri doing the $250,000 on the HELOC, Bryce he says repeatedly, he loved you. If he were here today, he would not want this to be happening to you. He only wanted to protect his kids, which is why he changed the estate. And Bryce even says, I think that if he knew that what he put in writing 2 years ago were having this effect now, he would feel horrible about it and he would have changed it. She makes a point to say 2 years ago, everything was a shit show, but we really worked on our marriage. And we've been good for the past couple of years. Now, all that's being said while she's having an affair with Grossman. And I don't know for sure what Chelsea, her best friend, knew about the affair with Grossman. But she did tell one of her other friends that she had basically broken up with Grossman 9 months earlier, which was not true. There's a lot of lying going on. And it might even be lying from all sides. Who knows? But Kouri is the person who's on trial here, and she lies a lot. She lies a lot about the finances to her friends, to her family, to Eric, to everybody. But she is very upset about the fact that she's about to lose her home and that she has been called a bad mother, and that there's video evidence supposedly of her being a bad mother. But by that, she means she was drinking and they were having a celebration of life for Eric.
By the way, my quick Google tells me that Utah is a one-party consent state. It is legal to record in-person or telephone conversations if you are a party. So just FYI, that was.
Yep.
I did not know that before you asked that question. I literally just looked it up. Full disclosure.
Yeah. Utah is a one-party consent. So it's fine for her to record these things, but it may not help her in the long run. So Bryce says he supports her. He feels bad for her, but he can't get involved in the dispute with the Richins. Kouri talks about the time she's helped Eric's sisters and she doesn't understand what she did wrong. Kouri says she and Eric have been so good in the past 2 years. He had anger management book that he would write in every day. They went on double dates. They had weekly date nights. Now Katie and Amy are attacking her for no reason. Sorry, I was just reading your text. Bryce says that if they could talk to Eric now, he loved Kouri and his children. Bryce says he hates that they have to go down that route because of the things Eric put in place 2 years ago with the attorneys. Kouri says every day Eric's sisters are coming at her with something. She says she's getting charged with assault. That's when they do the objection. She also tells Bryce she spoke with the medical examiner. She's frustrated about the COVID thing. Kouri says the medical examiner says he had a fungal infection in his lungs and his lungs were full of fluid and blood. Kouri says the medical examiner said between the fungal infection and COVID, it shuts his lungs down. Kouri says she didn't believe the medical examiner because Eric was a mountain goat and there was nothing wrong with his lungs. She got bitchy with you.
Kouri Wait, is that true? Was that a finding of the medical examiner as far as you know?
I don't know. I'm sure we can. Do you want to look that up real quick while we're talking about it? Because it's a question I've had too, and I don't know the answer to it. I do think that, actually I do know the answer to it. There was mention of him having lung issues, I believe.
Well, that if he's a stonemason, he would definitely have lung issues.
Yeah. And that's what it was. That's what they were boiling it down to. But they had all had COVID like a few weeks prior, a couple weeks prior.
No, they didn't. They don't believe in COVID.
Oh, right. Yeah. She says it. She said, well, we all had COVID, but he didn't die of COVID. That's ridiculous. Kouri said if he had died of COVID, she would have heard him struggling to breathe or getting up. Kouri says Eric was in the same position he was in when she went to bed with him, and she insists he did not die of COVID. Kouri says Eric was in better shape than anyone can imagine. Bryce spends a lot of time just apologizing that she's having to go through all of this. He says she's doing the right thing. She was married to Eric for almost 10 years. Kouri said she would never screw Eric. And Bryce says if Eric were still here, he would likely change the trust.
Okay, I have some coroner's report updates.
Thank you.
So he died of a fatal fentanyl overdose, which would be from somebody who's not used to taking the drug and takes it. There are white nodules in the surface of his lungs that developed from the years he spent working as a stonemason. However, that was not a factor in his death, and all of his other major organs looked normal. All the tests for fungal ailments were negative. He did test positive for COVID-19. But Kouri had said the family recently recovered. Yeah, so that was essentially it. He has 2 forms of anti-abuse medication that can be used for off-label chronic symptoms of Lyme disease. Anti-abuse medication, that's interesting.
Yeah. The interesting thing about that too is that he wasn't supposed to be drinking on that medication as evidence from Greece.
Medication. Yeah.
But if they had Moscow mules the night he died.
Well, so you know what anti-abuse medication is? It's medication you take. It's a medication that's prescribed to like alcoholics to help them curb their drinking.
Right.
So if he's taking it off label for Lyme disease, which that's what it says. You do get very sick when you drink. But if his blood tested positive for it, then.
But my point is that if they did have a celebratory drink or whatever, the Moscow mules the night he died, he would have known better. He would have known that he couldn't drink on that medication.
Right.
So I don't know.
He was prescribed. It doesn't say it was found in his blood.
Yeah, I mean, TC Nerd, you could be correct. I mean, we will never know the answer to this question because they didn't test the Moscow mules. They could have been mocktails, of course, but we won't ever know that because they didn't test them, unfortunately.
Were they in Moscow mule cups? Is that why they assume they're Moscow mules?
Yeah, I think so. But the problem is that, and I think Kouri, it's been brought up before. I think Kouri brought it up, but the cops never even went into the kitchen to see the Moscow mule cups in the sink before the housekeeper put them in the dishwasher. Yeah, I heard that too, that he wasn't taking the meds, but didn't you just read that it showed up in his system?
It says they were not in his system. No, I read that he was prescribed those.
Oh, okay, but they were not in his system. Okay.
I used to take naltrexone.
Yeah.
It's also part of a Contrave weight loss cocktail. Naltrexone and Wellbutrin together.
Yep. So back to the call, Kouri's boys come in and start talking. She tells one of them to go lay down on the couch. Chelsea chimes in and says that Eric's sisters are concentrating on hurting Kouri and money. Kouri says she isn't fighting for money. She's giving it to them. Chelsea says Eric left behind a family and doesn't understand why Katie and Amy are fighting over this, fighting for his money. Kouri says they can have it. They can take it. The call is over. Lewis. Okay. So the defense has, and here's the craziest thing. After all that friggin' time and after everything that was said in that call, with Chelsea sitting on the stand for all of it, the defense has no questions for her. Which I was just like, you guys, there's so much in this call that you can use, you know? And it's
I suspect that they figured the best part came out and they could only make it worse. Because if she's told them something about the nature of her relationship with Chelsea that isn't positive, you know, they probably figured she's done the best. We've gotten out of her the best we're going to get, and we will make it. Yeah, I think that she was scared of I think they were scared of what she would say as well.
I think so too. I mean, because we never established that Chelsea was, I don't think Chelsea's friends with her anymore, which is unfortunate because they've been friends since they were like little kids, but it seemed like that, but she never really established whether she was still friends with her or not. The next witness they called does seem like she is still friends with her. And her name is Allie Stalking. Not really sure how to pronounce her last name. She was fucking fabulous. She was gorgeous. She was just like, she was amazing. She's known Kouri since they were in junior high school. And so here are the things that she testified to that I found very interesting. Allie testified about the gummy story. So she testified that in 2018, they were all on a trip in Hawaii. Where when Kouri opened her luggage, she was upset to find that Eric had put THC gummies in Kouri's luggage, which is the story Kouri was telling in the Walk the Dog letter. And Eric was laughing at Kouri because of how upset Kouri was. And it was
this is such a familiar dynamic to me. I have traveled with THC gummies, and Kevin loses his fucking shit. And I'm like, those dogs are not looking for THC gummies. And he's like, you don't know that. And he's probably right. So I stopped doing it. But he used to lose his shit when I did it.
The difference is you don't put them in Kevin's luggage, though.
Never.
That's an asshole-ish thing to do. I'm sorry. I don't want to speak ill of the dead, but that's fucked up. So they all took gummies, all of them in their circle of friends. They all did the THC gummies. So that was a thing that they did. And then she also recounted a dinner in February 2022 where Eric jokingly said in front of their friends and Kouri and everybody that he thought Kouri tried to poison him on Valentine's Day. And Allie says that he was laughing about it and he thought it was a joke because he got sick after he ate something. I can imagine in a separate world where he called his sisters and was like, I got so sick. And it was right after Kouri ordered lunch from the diner. And they were like, oh, she's trying to poison you. And he was like, no. You know, I just feel like that's probably how.
Okay. Can I throw out another potential scenario?
Sure. Yeah.
When bad things happen to people or when they think bad things, very often people will throw things out in the form of a joke that they're actually kind of serious about.
Yeah.
Just to sort of like maybe he and Kouri had kind of made up by then or whatever. And it's like, you know, you ever like, I don't do this to Kevin, but I do have a couple friends who they have a much more like spicy relationship than Kevin and I do. They have a lot more drama. They love each other very much and I love them very much, but they both have a higher tolerance for drama than I do. And they will joke about like arguments they had or whatever. And I'm like, that sounds really bad, but it's like that's just the cadence of their relationship. So I wonder if he really maybe had thought that, but was like kind of over it and was like, I'll just make a joke about it now.
I don't know if the prosecution set this up entirely, but yesterday was the anniversary of Eric's death. And so to listen to a phone conversation of his best friend, so his sisters were in the courtroom yesterday. Kouri's obviously in the courtroom. To listen to a conversation of his best friends and his wife, his widow, who they think killed him, talking about Eric. They were all joking, and Bryce even said, Bryce said, I mean, I don't think you would poison him. I don't think that's the way you would have killed him. I think you would have shot him in the head. And then Kouri and Chelsea are like, yeah, and she would have done it 2 years ago when he was having an affair and the whole $250,000. But to hear them talking about their deceased brother in this way is probably, I think that was pretty bad. But I wonder if the prosecution was like, oh, they're all coming back.
All right, let's mute.
All right.
Just for the record, what I think they're discussing is I think that he's probably hashing out some of the personal issues between these lawyers at the bench because he doesn't want them to come into this proceeding.
I'll be right back.
Yeah. Right outside the right there, right in there.
Christina Rex, by the way, is a lawyer now. She both had a baby and passed the Massachusetts bar exam in the wake of the Karen Reed case. Yeah, this is a long start. I mean, I'm going to hazard a guess. Christina Rex, by the way, is a reporter for a local TV station. She did a lot of coverage of the Karen Reed case on social media, and I think she might be with CVB. She's a great reporter. She actually did a really good job kind of going to social media on the early side of the Karen Reed, especially trial number 2. She was TikToking. She was doing face-to-camera Instagram and Twitter videos. And just a very likable, down the middle of the road journalist who also, by the way, was in law school and then had passed the Massachusetts bar and had a baby in the wake of the Karen Reed case, which is why she has not been on TV. But I think she just returned to TV last week. I think I saw her for the first time.
I'm going to mute this again.
I muted it already.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. I can mute your screen from my end. It's very exciting.
All right, let's keep going with Kouri.
They seem to have left the courtroom.
I know, it's so weird. What the hell is going on? It's so strange. I wonder if Boston 25 actually has like updates from inside the courtroom.
Let me take a look.
There was one other thing that popped up between the texts of Kouri and Chelsea, where when Kouri got the death certificate, you want to lay down, Bubba? When Kouri got the death certificate, she texted Chelsea that she was relieved after seeing the death certificate, which mentioned fentanyl and the shot lungs. I found that interesting. Like, why would she be relieved that it said fentanyl?
You mean, why would she say that she felt relieved that it said fentanyl?
Yeah.
Because she's going to claim that she didn't give him fentanyl. I mean, thank God it was fentanyl and not something I could have done.
Yeah.
Remember, we're hearing what she said, not what she believed.
Yeah.
So
I know.
I think that's, I'm cynical. I know, but that's how I am.
So the only other thing that I wanted to really bring up was that with Allie's testimony, here's another strike against for me. Basically, Allie and Kouri went to Sedona to go on some sort of like I don't even know what to call it. Hold on, let me see if I can find it. Oh yeah, here it is. They attended a Finding True Self retreat in Sedona, in Arizona.
That sounds very Sedona.
Yeah, it does. In February 2021, as part of the retreat, each of them had to complete an assignment in which they wrote their life story in third person. So that was read. That was in court.
That's some woo-woo shit right there.
It was. One of the things that happened on the stand, and this is why I think that Allie is definitely still friends with, and she kind of alluded to that, but Kouri, they showed her Kouri's written third person life story, and they said, "Do you recognize this as her handwriting?" And she was like, "I don't know." And they were like, "What do you mean you don't know? You're her best friend." And she's like, "I mean, we text. We don't really write letters to one another." And so she gave him a little bit of trouble on that one. But in the Kouri Richins life story, she detailed that her parents, she has a lot of half siblings because her parents were both married and had children before. And then when her mother and father got married, they had Kouri and her brother Ronnie. Her father was an alcoholic who, while drunk driving, sideswiped, I believe, a police officer and went to prison for a little bit. Her mother was also an addict, but she was a gambling addict. So this is all making sense now. And eventually her mother moved to Utah because I think she wanted to be closer to one of her sisters, and Kouri and Ronnie moved there with her. But she continued to have a gambling issue. There was a casino like 2 hours away from their home in Utah, I would assume in Vegas. And so her mother continued to have a gambling problem. And Kouri met Eric when she was in college. They fell in love. She got pregnant her second or third year in college. They got married. Kouri really wanted to get married and have kids. She thought that that's what she was supposed to do, and that's what she really wanted to do because she had such an upheaval, like in her childhood. They moved around a lot when she was a kid. Then she thought, I'll have another baby because that will make me feel better and about my life. That didn't work. She went back to school. She got her master's degree. They had a third baby. She talked about her issues with her marriage, Eric having an affair, all that. That was really all that came out of Allie's testimony. It wasn't like groundbreaking, except for me, if I'm on the jury and I hear that there is a witness to the gummy situation, I think that a lot of what happened today is actually going to tear down some of the walk the dog letter when that comes in. Yeah. And so, so Shelley is saying the third party story that indicates that her mother was a gambling addict and it impacted her upbringing, her house flipping and risk taking seems to be similar. Yeah. I think that that's why Kouri ended up being so financially unstable and like made really bad decisions financially because she grew up in a house with two addicts who had impulse control issues. And one of them was a gambling addict, and it's, her mother.
Yeah.
My mother was a gambling addict. My mother was an alcoholic. I understand. So yeah, that's pretty much what happened yesterday. Let's see,
I have somebody in my family with a gambling problem, and I'll be transparent, a suspected gambling problem. And this person has a very high tolerance for risk in their regular life as well. In terms of like playing things like fast and loose with lots of stuff and like living for the moment. It's very YOLO, the whole deal. It's hard. It can be really, really difficult, and it feel very destabilizing.
Yeah. I will say one other thing about Allie's testimony. When on cross,
listen, I love Mel's huge heart. I don't think Mel has rose-colored glasses, TC nerd. I think she has a big heart and an open mind that is her heart is bigger than mine, and her mind is more open to other possibilities than I am a lot of times. But I don't think she's being taken in necessarily by fraudsters. So
no, and I'll be honest with you, Kouri can be guilty as all get out, but if they don't prove it, that's that.
And I say sometimes they don't prove it, and sometimes juries convict anyway. I mean, it happens all the time.
Yep.
But I
So
think they're doing a good job proving it. I do.
Yeah, I think that the defense had some issues yesterday. They were making some mistakes. There was one funny moment where they had let a witness go. I don't remember which one it was. It might have been Chelsea. And then the prosecution got up and said um something along the lines of I'd like to reference the case Utah versus Takesies Backsies or something like that. And he basically was like, I want to recall the witness. And he was making a joke. And the defense attorney was so like in a tunnel trying to deal with what was going on in the courtroom that she was like, I object. I don't even know what this case is that he's referring to. And the judge was like, he was making a joke. And she's like, well, if he's making a joke, then that's why I didn't know what case it is. But she like it right over her head, so it was just like takes these backsies, like they are scrambling so hard that they're not hearing any kind of nuance as far as I'm concerned. But so Lewis, the defense attorney, did ask Allie where they were getting the THC gummies and if they were from one particular person. The prosecution kept objecting because, well, the interesting thing about this cross-examination was that the defense is choosing to deal with their direct with this witness as well, because she lives out of town. So they were actually on direct with her, not on cross necessarily.
Because she wasn't going to be able to be recalled back easily.
Right. And so they were getting objected to because they were leading the witness, and they can't lead when it's your direct.
Got it.
So basically they have to go to sidebar a million times. All the gummies were coming from the same person. Lewis asked if she was ever there when the gummies were purchased or delivered. She never was. Lewis asked if someone told Allie where the gummies were coming from. She was told. Allie learned about Eric's death from a friend who called her. So it's interesting to me that they aren't saying who that person is, who gave him the gummies, or who he got the gummies from, or where he bought the gummies. I'm sure that's going to come up later. Nothing about Kouri's behavior struck Allie as odd. She said that Kouri was acting, like how she knows her. There was the celebration of life the night after Eric died. So she was trying to break into the safe the night after Eric died. And Bryce was there without his pants on the night after Eric died. People were coming by to express their condolences. There was alcohol, and people were playing with the kids, talking about memories of Eric, etc.
So was this just like an open house situation where it was like everybody come over? Okay. So this wasn't like there were.
So when Katie and Amy pull up and they see the locksmith, they lost their goddamn minds.
I think that's reasonable. I think that's a reasonable reaction to that. I mean, what could she need that's so urgent the day after he dies?
No, I don't know. I mean, she could have already been worried about the house. I don't know. Lewis admits a photo showing Kouri, Bryce, Allie, Chelsea, and Amy, Eric's sister. It was taken during the celebration of life. Allie stayed overnight and was there the next day. When Amy came to the house, Kouri was trying to get into the safe that belonged to Eric to see what his will said. She was not able to get into the safe because she didn't know the code. The locksmith was called. Amy ran into the garage to stop the locksmith from opening the safe. Kouri had pure frustration and rage because she couldn't get into the safe. She was shaking, Allie said. Kouri was crying. Lewis asked about the sandwich conversation with Eric and their group of friends. They talked about Eric having an allergic reaction and having to have an EpiPen. They were joking and said, "Don't eat what Kouri gives you." Eric did not seem upset and was joking along. They asked about the trip to Hawaii, the gummies in the luggage. The prosecution wants to submit a photo, but there are kids in the image, so the faces are going to be blurred, and that will be given to the jury later. There was one final question for Allie, and that was from the defense. She asked if Allie had ever been to other wakes. She said she had. She said there was nothing unusual about this wake. They were trying to keep things light and happy for the kids. Amy, Bryce, and Chelsea also spent the night at the home the night of the wake. And Allie was done testifying, and There is no court today. They have recessed until Monday. And that is when we're going to hear from Kouri Wright, who is Eric's business partner.
I'm looking forward to that.
Me too.
Because I want to see that cute lady's husband. So if we now that we have a couple minutes, would it be okay if I talk briefly about the motions that were filed in a hurry yesterday for this case?
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm sorry we haven't gotten to a lot of comments today, guys, but we are like just all over the place. So please bear with us.
No, it's totally fine. And we both have hard out. So given the amount of time this has taken before this hearing gets started, I'm hoping we're going to be able to cover it, but we'll see.
No,
I have a hard out
in
at
half
11.
an hour.
I have to be out at 11, so I can hang out.
You might be able to stay on a little bit. Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
So essentially, we got this order from the judge, I believe Tuesday, saying you can file anything you want to file before Friday's hearing as long as it's in by Thursday, I believe at noon or whatever. So we got this like flurry of motions, and I suspect this is because the judge got wind of the accusations flying back and forth with these lawyers and was like, get it in writing. I'm not interested in, in having this all come up Friday without getting it in writing. So as we talked about before, Karen Reed's side filed a motion accusing the O'Keefe's attorney, Diller, of putting a quote from Karen Reed from the Turtle Boy tape on top of the motion he filed asking for the restraining order, again, to keep her phones away from her. And the quote wasn't accurate. Now, the quote he put in is, do you have any idea what's on those phones? I'm fucking dead, blah, 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 blah. So Karen Reed's attorneys say quote was false, quote was not real. And also, not in addition to that, the links he submitted to go with the quote were not viewable. So that's why we heard the judge say, send me the right links. So what happened, what we saw quickly this week was a filing from Diller, the O'Keefe's attorneys, in response to this accusation by the defendant. And that attorney said, under no circumstances is it weird that we would have misheard this quote, because so did all these other people. And then they do screenshots of all of these anti-Karen Reed people on social media who had said, did you hear that? She said, I'm fucking dead. Would somebody who's innocent say I'm fucking dead? And he has screenshots of people who like are anti-Karen Reed people. And see, it's like Kevin Lanahan. Heard it that way. Yes, Kevin Lanahan's in there. They heard it that way. So it's totally reasonable that I heard it that way. And what the defense is saying that she said fucking again just isn't a natural occurring figure of speech that someone would say. So why would we say that? It was a ridiculous, very interesting response.
Can I just say one thing here? I just have to put it in. Go ahead, grab your coffee or soda, whatever you're drinking, and take a drink, because literally the Loyola study that we had done in the Pamela Smart case about confirmation bias on wiretaps and transcripts is playing out in real time in this hearing today. And I would love to get in touch with the lawyers, because I'm like, you guys, so this is what's happening. The plaintiffs are saying they're hearing one thing because of their confirmation bias. The defense is saying they're hearing another thing because of their confirmation bias, though I agree with the defense, because I think that's what she did say. But at the end of the day, there are too many places to make mistakes. So this should not be here. We should not be here with this audio. And on top of that, the audio was leaked illegally.
Right. But using what really is amazing to me is using selected commentary from people on social media to bolster their argument that this is what they heard. See how these other people heard it too.
It's proving the confirmation bias.
But it's like, no, it's like a snake eating its tail.
Yeah.
Because it's not all, but many of these anti-Karen Reed people are literally organized and repeating talking points that they have received from the McAlberts and O'Keefe types, right? So like they are repeating what would be helpful to the O'Keefe side that they have been told is true by somebody who was told it's true, or by the horse's mouth. Like, so, Lanahan has a relationship with them. We know that, of course, Carrie Lama has a relationship with them. Kate Peter has a relationship with them. And a lot of this stuff, it has an origin point on the internet, and then it goes like rampant through all these anti-Karen Reid accounts. So this is what he's using as his proof. It's like using a game of telephone to prove what somebody said. So the Karen side then files a motion about their reply. And their motion is scathing. Their motion basically says, first, plaintiff's counsel now states that, quote, the audio, which was included as exhibit for the court's own review, was provided in an unaltered format and is anything but ambiguous. This is demonstrably false. In fact, when the plaintiffs first filed their emergency motion and served it, they filed an exhibit along with it. I'm paraphrasing just to make it quicker. They have a Sean McDonough tweet. Okay. It was not an accident that the copy of this post plaintiffs used in the first sentence. The full post specifically states that Ms. Reid said in the mud with Tully again. It does not say I'm dead as the plaintiffs pronounced. So they basically cut off Sean McDonough's tweet before he said that. Okay.
But also, can we just make a point to say that in the plaintiff's motion, they also put in a link to the audio that was a broken link.
Yeah, that's in here. They say that. They also, by the way, claim, and they did exactly what I said I would do, that one of the reasons why O'Keefe's lawyer said that they couldn't be accused of sharing illegally taped audio per the statute is because Karen never pressed charges. And that's exactly what I would say. If they think this is illegal and they think it's bad, why hasn't she pressed charges? That's actually, in my opinion, a pretty decent argument for that. So specifically, when Reid's counsel tried to access the original link to Exhibit J after the court's order, the link did not work. When Reid's counsel asked plaintiff's counsel for a new way to view the exhibit, plaintiff's counsel provided it on March 4th, saying he had only, quote, created a new link and have pasted it below. Hopefully this will fix any issue with the exhibits. Now, the thing that they potentially didn't realize would happen, what they should have, is that the Reid side has both versions because they downloaded the stuff from the original version and they were able to compare it. So the new version of Exhibit J plays the same audio as was in the original exhibit at a markedly slower pace than the original version the plaintiffs filed. This is no minor infraction. In fact, it directly and unambiguously contradictory to the plaintiff's counsel's sworn testimony that I provided audio for the court's review in the exact form it appeared on the internet and did not alter the sound and format anyway. Plaintiffs tried to sneak past the defendants this new different exhibit to avoid the fact that the Microsoft transcription of the first faster version of the exhibits that the plaintiff submitted says again. The slower version, the transcription inaccurately transcribes the word as dead. Reid's counsel will be prepared to play each version submitted at tomorrow's hearing. So this could be what they're doing right now. They could be playing the tape in the judge's chambers and trying to talk all these issues through. I have a strong feeling that this judge, Gildea, does not want to air out these very personal attacks in this hearing space. Now, remember, Karen Reid is not the only defendant in this case. So are the Waterfall. So are CJ McCarthy's. And this judge is a dignified judge who's trying to keep things pretty straight and has been really like a straight shooter for this case. So I'm guessing that he does not like this. So plaintiff's counsel then disingenuously argues that the very quote at the top of their emergency motion was not actually important, which is something else they said in their motion. A one-party consent call, yada, yada. So yeah, this was pretty, they're basically saying they falsified evidence, either the first instance or the second instance, to bolster their case. They used, and that they deserve sanctions. So this is a very like spicy series of motions, and they're deeply personal. They're basically saying you don't have ethics. So what happened? I don't know. The feed cut. That's a pool feed, so it's nobody's fault. And for those who don't know, a pool feed means there's one camera allowed in the courtroom that all the news networks and streamers have access to. And we, of course, are playing Fox 25s because we're not accessing the Zoom directly at this point. And so credit to them. And they will occasionally have ads that pop up on the side, and we will mute the video when those ads come on. We apologize. Mel is not logged into her YouTube Premium account. I don't have a YouTube Premium account because I'm really tired of getting those ads for it, but maybe I should.
I'm trying to see if the trial channel has it up.
He feigns ignorance at the fact that this recording was made without Reed's consent. He describes it as, quote, audio from a phone call between Carney and Reed that was leaked. At the same tweet, plaintiffs first partially submitted to the court in their emergency motion itself explains the recording is a one-party consent call with Karen Reed. So they're also saying that they took selective tweets from the internet. I still can't believe they used screenshots of tweets from Andy Karen Reed people in their motions. It's wild. It's like, oh my God, your dog's snoring so loud. It's like, I'm trying to think of a good analogy for this. Oh my God.
I know. She's, yeah.
It would be like a politician using tweets from their own pack to prove that they're right about something is kind of what it's like. Oh, it will be. Oh yeah, it would be tax deductible. All my subscriptions are tax deductible because I review media on my other show. So we'll get that taken care of. Don't worry. We just didn't get it taken care of before today. So.
Yeah, I just went over to Melanie Little's feed and she's having the same.
Yeah,
she's got the same thing. Yeah.
Pool camera.
Ruby is a snoropolous. Snorolophagus. Yeah, I don't know if we're even going to get into this today. I mean, I think you're right about the judge not wanting to like air this out in public, but he's got cameras in the courtroom. Like that's what's happening today.
He knows.
We need to understand what's going on.
Right. It is very unusual for a civil case to inspire such public interest. Yeah. And he knows that. You switched over to lawyer, by mistake there, Mel. We don't want to stream his live stream.
I did not. I didn't do that.
Well, it did. It switched. So
that means that the feed was cut completely.
Yeah. I don't want to stream his live stream. So why don't we just take that down for a minute? There we go. That is actually a copyright violation to stream somebody's live. I mean, it's arguable that if you comment on it while you're streaming it, it's not so bad, but.
Huh. That means
someone says Microdots has it available.
On
the audio.
YouTube?
No, the audio they're saying. I don't know what they're talking about. Let's see. Let me see who's in the courtroom reporter-wise. We're just like you now. Streamers, we're just like you. We are also frustrated at the lack of video currently available in the... I
don't see Microdots on YouTube having it.
No, they don't. All right, let's see. Karen Reed.
This is so strange. I wonder what's going on over there.
Yeah, young jerks. It's just the camera. The camera. It cut. The judge may have asked for it to cut. Who knows?
I think it's back. It's back. It's back. People are moving around the courtroom. All right, let me get this back up. Ruby Jean.
Oh, the audio that's in dispute? Oh, okay. So, yes, Microdots does have the audio. And the audio, if you just Google Karen Reed taped phone call, you can find it on the internet quite easily.
Okay, lawyers are back in the court. Maybe we're going to get going here. I'm going to put the audio on.
Okay, I'm going to mute.
Oh, yeah, we can hear it. Okay. Here we go. I might get to see some of this before I go.
Yes, please. Yes, sir.
During the Reed case, whenever there was side conversations going on in the courtroom, the mics would pick up. I would fucking turn my YouTube way up high or my TV volume way up high. I am very. They cleared the courtroom.
Interesting. Why?
That's why they cut the feed.
Let's see if we can hear.
Oh, this is a replay. Did you start at the beginning again?
No.
This is live? Oh, you did. Oh, we're still gone. All right. Mistake. Thank you. Thank you for pointing that out. We were in a world of a deja vu.
Huh.
Well, this is going to happen later, I think. It's not going to happen now.
I guess. Yeah, this is so weird.
That's okay. We don't have to just kill time. We can watch the hearing when it happens, and we can talk about it later today or tomorrow.
Okay.
I was excited too, folks. We all were. We were all rooting for you, Jackson. We were all rooting for you.
Yeah, it does look like the feed is back up, but it's on the live view thing again.
Yeah. So one thing that I want to mention, somebody mentioned it earlier, my interview with Nigel Barker and Jay Manuel from America's Next Top Model. They told me, and you can listen to the whole interview when you can't make this up. They told me that we were all rooting for you video. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
So Tyra Banks,
Wait,
contestant.
yeah. Tell us what you're talking about, because I know what you're talking about.
Was famously a contestant on America's Next Top Model that had been in one season and that they had to cut because she had gotten into a fight. And then the producers spent all this time trying to work with her and like make her life better and all this shit. And they brought her back. And then she was in the next season and every time a girl would stand up for herself, they would cut her. Like, that's basically what happened. Every time a woman would say that she was assaulted or that she was uncomfortable or that whatever, they would be like, okay, well, you're no fun to work with. You're out. So they had this humiliating challenge going on in a judging round in America's Next Top Model, where the panel of judges was sitting there and they were having the contestants all read this list of designers like Givenchy and Hermes and Chanel. And like, it was like a paragraph that had these, and a lot of these girls were like, literally, they had come from working at a counter at Walmart to like this modeling show. Like, the fashion world is not their language. Also, it's a humiliating challenge because some people have a better ability to read, frankly, than others because of disabilities or because of education or whatever. And some people are very unnerved by having to read out loud. So this girl comes up, this girl that they had rehabilitated and brought back comes up, and she just refuses to do it. She's like, I'm not doing this. I'm out of here.
Yep.
Tyra Banks very famously screams at her on camera. It's on the show. We were all rooting for you. And she's screaming. We were all rooting for you. And this is your fault. And blah, 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 blah. It is not hard to find if you want to look it up on the internet. Tyra Banks, by the way, does not come off great in this documentary. Jay Manuel told me in my interview with him, it's the first time he's ever told the story, that they had said in the documentary that she said a lot more that wasn't included in the documentary, but that all the tapes from that day, all the raw footage is missing.
Tyra.
She was an EP of the show, so she could.
It was her baby. It was her. She created it.
Anyway. All right, why don't we wrap it, and we can always watch the hearing and come back. I don't want to have our audience have to listen to us kill time for as long as this is going to take.
That sounds good to me, because I should really get off right now because I was pushing it by going to 10:30. But let's see what happens today, and then maybe we can jump on this weekend and discuss. I still want to talk a little bit about what actually happened in court and your thoughts and opinions about some of the testimony that we just went through for Kouri Richins as well, because I think there was a lot there, and it's a lot more personal and it's a lot more contextual, and so,
and in my opinion, is not helpful for her.
I disagree.
Okay.
I mean, I agree with you, but I also think that there might be people on the jury who this humanized Kouri, and they also may have felt bad for her. When you've got the victim's best friend being like, you're a good mom. If Eric were here, he would be on your side. He would have changed the will and the estate, and he loved you. And that's why he was working, after he had an affair to get the marriage back on track, and anger management. And she's crying and saying, they can have the money. I don't want the money. I can make money on my own. I just want my house to raise my kids. I'm not a bad mother. Why are they making me out to be? I think that is going, if there are women on the jury.
Is he going to testify?
Yes. Oh, wait, I don't know. I don't know if Bryce is going to testify.
Well, I'd be curious to know what he would say about that conversation, because
I'm only talking about in this moment on this day.
100%. He doesn't think she did it at that point, and he's just being a friend, right? I'm curious to know if his feelings have evolved. So I guess we'll find out. if you
The
testify.
interesting thing was that Allie's feelings haven't really evolved. She just had to testify because she was subpoenaed. So,
Yeah. All right, well,
okay.
let's wrap it, and we will have this hearing at some point, and we will come back perhaps tomorrow morning to discuss it. And we'll be able to replay it.
I
and
hope it
all that
happens
stuff.
today. I really want to. Well, I also just want to hear Alan Jackson get up and like rip Diller a new one. That's what I want. So
I don't know if the judge is going to allow. I mean, I am betting that they are working this stuff out in camera right now in the chambers.
That's bullshit. That's bullshit.
I can't imagine what's disappeared either. So one thing I want to say is America's Next Top Model is famously, does not hold up, famously misogynistic, famously racist show.
Yep.
Where they had like white people dress up as African black people for photo shoots, and they did blackface. They did all this stuff, but Tyra was also so much harder on girls who are people of color than she was on white girls. So much harder.
Yep.
And so was everybody. So was Janice. So was everybody. But I think it's fair to say that Janice Dickinson, everybody says off on the doc, and Jay Manuel and Nigel told me this too. Everybody loved Janice Dickinson. She knew she was playing a character on the show. She was awful. She would say the worst things, but she was so over the top, but she was also behind the scenes, apparently very supportive because she could relate to these girls so well. And
except for the fact that she was telling them all to get plastic surgery. And
and she was telling them all they were fat cows. Yes. Yeah. But apparently off camera, she was, and Tyra was not the same off camera as she was on camera. So
Janice Dickinson, it was really funny. So do you remember her when she had her own spinoff show? And
no, I remember her on Celebrity Rehab with Dr. Drew, but not that.
Well, she had her own spinoff show, and she had her offices were in the mall in the middle of Hollywood, LA, in California. And so that was my mall. And so I was constantly there. And she was always out on the balcony outside of her office, overlooking the open mall, just yelling at people.
Did she live in the mall that what's her face Hannah lives in Hacks? Hannah Einbinder's character?
I don't remember. I don't know. It's the mall, and I can't think of the name of it. It's the one that has the big elephants. It's in the middle of Hollywood.
I think she was
it's right next to where they do the Oscars and all
like a little plaza.
Yeah.
All right. We're going to go. You have to go. We will be back tomorrow morning to talk about what happened in this hearing today. And we're very sorry that we can't bring you live streaming coverage of it right now. But, we started at 8:30 and it's still not happening. So
I know. I can't believe we've actually been on for almost 2 hours. It feels like we just got on.
And we talked about nothing except the Kouri Richins stuff. We didn't talk about anything regarding this, which was our main event. So,
okay. I will update if we are able to stream this weekend or if we can come back this weekend to talk about what's happening today. I will let you all know on the Facebook page and on the YouTube page. So be on the lookout for that. And the Highland and Holly. It's the Highland and Hollywood Center. Yep. That's the one. Highland Hollywood. So we love you all. I love you, Rebecca. I appreciate you. Thanks for coming on early with me today. And we will see you very soon.
We'll keep an eye on our YouTube. Bye.